He saw those plans presented by the Labour Party with whom he ran in 2011. Let's talk about, bitterness. A lot of your detractors, a lot of people out there listening to you tonight will say that, oh, you're only coming here and discussing this, or have those enlightened observations because you're bitter, because you did not get what you want, because you were put in an inferior position within government, and since you're so bitter, you're just lashing out. How would you respond to those?
Well, everybody has a right to react to certain things. I mean, react to my resignation the way they feel like. And I respect that. But Ubaldus Raymond never harbors hatred, bitterness. And I have learned that, hatred, bitterness destroys the one who carries it. So I'm a free agent in that sense. I don't have any bitterness. I have nothing against the Labour Party. I have nothing against Dr. Kenny Anthony, and I should not have anything against anybody in that respect, in that regard. Why should I? As I said to you, it was a personal decision. It's a decision where I felt that I had to move on, and I did. Simple as that. I respect people's decisions, people who are in authority and they make decisions. I respect that. And why should I hold bitterness? There is none. It's unfortunate, Clinton, that when one makes decisions, when one makes certain statements, when one makes certain criticisms, these things are always seen as you are posing. I believe we have to change our mindset, especially if we have to develop this country. We need a total mindset, especially when it comes to party color. It's unfortunate, Clinton, that in this country, there are many people who actually see through yellow and red and see nothing else. They don't see national development. I could be coming here tonight. I could be here tonight and make a statement that is in favor of the development of this country. And that statement could be one that may be criticizing the current government. And because of the mindset of the individuals I just mentioned, they will not see that. But they will see what? I am criticizing the government. When I came into politics, because I love this country. My wife and myself, we always said to ourselves that we will not want to remain in the United States. We are educating ourselves, we are developing ourselves professionally to return to contribute to this country. So Ubaldus Raymond is not Labour, is not UWP, but Ubaldus Raymond is a St. Lucian. That's what matters to me.
Now this might not rub certain people within the Labour Party and the Labour Party faithful the right way, what you just said, that you're not Labour, you're not UWP.
Correct.
It might appear to some that you were just an opportunist, and there was an opportunity within the Labour Party and you took it.
Yeah.
What would your response be to that?
The question is, what is Labour? What is being a Labour, or what being a United Workers' Party person? What is that?
Well, in our context, you would think that it means that you subscribe to the views of the yellows or the reds.
What is that?
Whatever those views are.
And that's my point. You see, Clinton, one has to have a conviction, especially when it comes to serving. And I don't want my conviction to be that I am associated, I am genetically coded yellow or red. I am not. I am not. If you are convinced or convicted that you are a St. Lucian, I am a St. Lucian, first and foremost, you will be able to provide a better service to this country than if you are running, or your conviction rather, is based on party color.
But isn't that how it works in our local politics, that party first?
That's the problem.
That you subscribe to the party first.
That's the problem. I'm saying you have to be part of a party here. We have a two-party system, maybe three. That is what we have. But I believe that when you put party before country, we are in problems. Because what might be politically expedient might not be what's good for this country.
On that note, I want to turn a little, take a different approach. Let's look at the economy, and that is your area of expertise.
Yeah.
You were not really in favor, or you were not in favor at all with the manifesto and what the projections are. The Labour Party came in under that theme of better days, the promise of better days. Did you ever believe that there would be better days, given what was happening in the local economy and in the global economy?
I wasn't convinced at the time, but I had concerns at the time. There are, as I said earlier, there are good things the Labour Party has done for this country in terms of political stability. That is very, very, very important in our development. And I applaud the Labour Party for that. But going back again to the manifesto and the question that you asked, I wasn't convinced. I wasn't comfortable. I had concerns, lots of concerns. I still believe the Labour Party has a chance to... By the way, I must say that this is a very difficult time to govern. There is no doubt about that. Very difficult time to govern. But I have not seen any reforms, economic and otherwise.
What reforms would you be looking forward to, given the difficulties that we face as an economy?
Okay. We have a very, very heavy, overly burdened public sector, don't we? Is this the right thing for this country? Is the government trying to change that with its policies? Is the government moving away from a large government to a smaller government, and or expanding or facilitating the expansion of the private sector? Are we moving into a private sector-led economy, which I believe is the right way to go? So I have not seen that kind of approach in terms of moving in that direction. I have concerns about that.
Now, what we're experiencing right now, is that something that you could have foreseen, given the policies that were being pursued by the administration, or presented to the electorate anyway?
But going back to my previous statements, if you look at the numbers in opposition, and again, I'm not referring just to the Labour Party, I'm referring to all opposition governments, all. If you look at the numbers, the fiscal numbers, it's supposed to give you an idea as to what direction you should take the country in terms of policy. For instance, when we look at our debt level, the first thing that should come to your mind is that the government should try to curtail its expenditures in as much as possible.
Mm-hmm.
The government should have a debt management strategy in place. How to reduce its debt over the next 5, 10, 15 years. Question: was this done? I doubt. Are these things being done? I doubt. An opposition should not be there just for opposing, but the opposition is supposed to be there to assist in governance. And the government should not see the opposition as just one that is opposing, but one that is making a contribution to the governance. But the question is, are our opposition parties, or government rather, are they playing their role as opposition government?
Look at the step and the other welfare programs that were proposed and ultimately introduced by the Labour administration. What is your feeling on those programs?
Clinton, again, is the big picture. One has to look at the big picture. What is the purpose of these programs? Oh, what's the purpose? Is it just welfare? Is there a bigger picture? Is there a bigger plan? What are these programs linked to? I don't know. I hear the argument that if you pump in money, if you give people money to spend, the people are going to spend the money, and there'll be a ripple effect in the economy. That is a fallacy. That's a fallacy. If you look at, first of all, the government these programs are actually putting more burden on the government, isn't it? Aren't they? More burden. Well, one might say that you need to take care of the poor. Of course you need to take care of the poor. Of course. But it should be done in such a way that it becomes sustainable. Or there is some kind of productivity or some kind of outcome at some point in time. But I believe it's wrong for the government to just keep carrying the burden of these individuals. Mind you, I'm happy these folks have money. I mean, they get a little job, yes. I have no objection. But I believe it's the responsibility of any government to ensure that there is a transition point, but not one where these people are totally dependent and will always be dependent on government.
But how do you make these programs sustainable? What kind of policies need to be partnered or parlayed with these welfare programs? And I say welfare in inverted commas, to make them sustainable, to make that ripple effect that was hoped for in the economy actually be realized.
Private sector. I believe any program the government puts together, first of all, if the government, when I say the government, again, folks, I am not referring to the Social Labour Party. I'm referring to government in general. I'm talking to the party hacks. I believe a government should, especially in this current environment, the government should do or play its part and do its best in creating an enabling environment that will expand the private sector. When you expand the private sector, you are naturally reducing the burden off your shoulders in terms of the government. The option for work will not just be the government, but will be the private sector. So I believe the bigger goal should not just be giving people what you call handouts, but the bigger picture is to try to see how you can have these people working. And not working for the government. Because I believe the strategy or the approach the government should take right now is to try to reduce on its burden.
Of course, you know, you look at our society and how we think as an electorate. And a lot of people listen to you say, well, this is the viewpoint of the opposition party, so therefore you must be in opposition to the government. And of course, you know, we have discussed that in a bit. Now, the CSA action, I want to go to the industrial unrest and its impact on the economy. The approach of the administration, the fiscal approach of the administration, do you see that in any way contributing to the present unrest that we have and what we had before the other unions accepted that 4% offer?
No government wants that kind of situation. No government wants that. And I don't think the people of this country should want such a situation. Because as we speak right now, the country is losing millions of dollars. As we speak, the very same dollars that they actually want in their pockets. But the point comes again. The question is, why do these people want an increase? Is the increase based on compensation for productivity? Or is the increase based on adjusting their incomes, their wages, their salaries, because of cost of living? That's a question. If it's for productivity, are we measuring productivity in this country? If it's based on the cost of living, do we have a system in place to make an adjustment? Most developed states, like the United States, they based their adjustment of income, or the income adjustment are based on the cost of living, measured by the inflation rate. Mm-hmm. I believe that the best approach would be, especially for the sake of fiscal planning, that incomes should be adjusted based on inflation. So it should be pegged with inflation. Mm-hmm. But as we speak now, the situation here is kind of unique because, both sides have strong points. The government says that we cannot afford. The unions, well, now it's only the CSA, is saying that we need the increase because we need to adjust for the increase in cost of living. And of course, they bring up the VAT, the VAT. Strong points. Very strong points. But I believe going forward, as I said before, I believe the solution to that is government should try its best to reduce on public sector as much as possible. And this is not an overnight thing. It will be a process. Number 2, wages in salaries should be adjusted or pegged to inflation.
We'll take a break on Newsmaker Live. When we come back, we'll continue our discussion with Dr. Ubaldus Raymond on probably ways that we can reduce the public sector. This is a touchy and a sticking point for any administration. We'll discuss options for doing that, and we'll also be taking your calls. Stay with us.